Three,
Love it.
2, 1, and pills. Game one, match one between Frank and Floyd.
Larva confirming it is 6 a.m. And with Frank, this is he usually has had to wait, I think, until summertime to be able to play because of just how late it is or how early it is for them. But has managed to win this tournament one, two, three, four, five, four times already, looking for his fifth. And you know what? Getting decent boards to start off to do that.
Both these players really excel in these later level blocks, and so we're going to see a lot of quick, efficient clears under both of them. Floyd just pressing down as fast as he can, and Frank looking like he's setting up some pretty elaborate plays given the RNG that was delivered to him with basically no blue in his top line there. Ook.
Yeah, I'd say with each player, you try to kind of figure out what is it that what really is it that makes them tick, especially when you got to commentate about their matches. With Floyd, we've already established he is very straightforward in his play style. With Frank, though, I think what really shines to me is his patience. Frank will wait around and find exactly the right pill combination while still managing to continue playing in an optimal way. And I know I struggle with that. It's a very difficult thing to be able to do. And it's find good places to put your pills while you're waiting on something else. For example, this he's waiting on this yellow. Did get the a little bit of extra there, but that you know that took not only him knowing it ahead of time, but being able to just wait for it to happen.
Yeah, this it's virtually dead heat at this point, just really crazy considering the fact that Frank had zero yellows exposed in his board there. But both players are going to be out about a 151, 152 going into level 11. Just being with their unique set of circumstances on their board here, it's going to be quite the endurance match for these two players here, there, Ook.
Yeah, Floyd really had a good healthy bit of lead right at the end of that last level, but the doctor was the doctor for him, and oh, he's not happy about the extra garbage he just dropped, but it's gonna clear up no problem. The doctor was not giving him the last red that he needed, and I mean it's really frustrating, and it's good to see for Floyd's sake. It's good to see that it didn't cost him too much. But it did give Frank just a touch of a chance to catch back up. But again, they're pretty evenly matched right now, as they're about halfway through this level 11. They're Swung.
And as you said that there, Ook, Frank presented the same problems he did from the last level, just no access to yellow and being very smart and creative with where he's placing his yellows to either make strategic garbage or drop down a whole slew of yellow down on his board there. But even despite that adversity he's overcome, it's still a two-virus game between these two players here. This is incredible to see.
Yeah, check this combo out from Floyd. It was almost even better than what he had, but he had to get rid of something to make the combo happen at all. But overall, just really heads up play from Floyd, our two-time champion.
I'm enjoying Floyd's board a little bit more as you mentioned it. It's definitely
Oh,
flatter. I think, wow, what a great combo from Frank there. As you
yeah.
said, just opened the whole entire thing up, and everything's just so exposed on both these players' boards here. Um, Frank going to be out at 342, and Floyd just waiting for a couple reds to eventually drop that down, horizontally clear to blue, and he will be joining Frank in a few moments there.
But the doctor's just not giving him the pills that he's promised, and he's because of where he placed his garbage, he's going to be forced to take those two reds in the lower left-hand corner vertically, which is not optimal. But um, it's going to work out. It's just not the fastest way, and he's going to lose a little bit of time over that.
Most definitely be. He's going to be out at a 411 here, and no exposure to red in his top line, but the doctor's providing with some yellows and blues, just what he needs to get this board started.
Yeah, Frank was having a little bit of a garbage issue at uh, earlier in his board. He's already managed to clear it out, but it again provided a little bit of slowdown, and that's turning out to be the whole match here is who is able to overcome the minor slowdowns that they're running into.
As Frank creates a chasm kind of in the middle of his board there, I think it looks like columns 4, 5, and 6. He just didn't really have any sort of places to place the pills that he was just given to him, so he just kind of created this void in the middle of his board here. But meanwhile, it looks like the Floyd has actually taken the lead, a slight lead over Frank right now, who's struggling to get his board opened up in an efficient way he'd like.
Yeah, that flat board that Floyd's got is really going to be advantageous, although he doesn't have very much access to blue, and the doctor's punishing him for it. But yeah, that's really going to be a better setup than what Frank's got. And you can see, he's trying to set up this horizontal yellow. He had to build back up for it because things aren't kind of working out. He's going to have to build again. That's not his fault. It's just the way the game is. It's what the game is presenting him with right now.
Most definitely. I think you said it best. That's the way that the doctor has been providing this set of RNG. And, again, this is going to be putting these players' tenacity to the test here as they navigate their ways, given the fact that they might not have the best. And a great way to open up the garbage here on Frank's side. He gets a sweet tea blue down over, and it's still neck and neck at this point.
Yeah. The only advantage I see for either player is the fact that Floyd's not having to deal with a stack on the left, but he did have to take care of that red first. Luckily, the doctor gave him blue afterwards. Sometimes he just doesn't want to do that. But Floyd out at a 619. Frank going to be out as soon as he gets his red down at a 626.
Still looking good for both these players here. Floyd tearing into this level really quickly, making short work of it, presented with a lot of reds and blues, a little bit of yellow axis, but still a lot of diversity on his top line. Meanwhile, Frank has a lot of reds and blues and not really a whole lot of access to yellows. Again, both these players are getting the interesting set of RNG in which it's not super duper efficient for both of them, but they're doing their best and they're doing a great job at that.
Yeah, Floyd kind of stuck with just putting some yellow reds down anywhere he could find a spot for it. Luckily, the doctor's being somewhat kind about it, but this double red is going to be exactly what he needs for that, though.
Awesome sweet tea on Floyd's side of there, just opening the whole thing up. It was all reds, and that double red was exactly what he was hoping to get, and the doctor provided. Meanwhile, it looks like Frank having a possible, looks like he's gonna be going with the fat log, fat log flag action there. That was amazing, just dropping everything down. With that combo, he's taking a slight lead over Floyd.
Yeah, that yellow staircase was pretty formidable, and the fact that he was able to see a way out of it, hallmark of Frank's play. This is what he does, and honestly, what more can you say? He came, he saw, he destroyed the yellow staircase.
Fantastic play as always here. Meanwhile, looks like Floyd is creating a little bit of a U shape in the middle of his board here, but luckily all the pieces are lined up in a way which isn't too terrible on his side there, but it's just the way that the doctor was giving his pills for this run here. So again, nothing that Floyd couldn't take care of, but just the pill sequencing was just a little off in what the doctor's providing here. Meanwhile, Frank finishing up at an 816.
Yes, indeed. I think we got so excited about each player's boards, we kind of forgot we were on the last level. I know I did.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, it's watching really good players do this, and it's easy to forget. Oh, hey, here we are on this level. But you can see Floyd having to deal with what Frank had to deal with at the end of level 12. He had that stacks on both sides, and that just it makes it harder to run. But GG's to Frank for the first win, and we do have a ready from Floyd. Once we get a ready from Frank, we'll be ready to go for game 2.
This is what we were expecting between these two titans. Just an absolute slugfest, just throwing jabs, throwing crosses. These guys are just putting on the greatest show we can possibly ask for. And it looks like we got it ready from Frank.
All right, readies from both players. So it's 3, 2, 1, and pills. Wow, I see options for both players as they start off. So this is going to be they're getting good solid boards. If I had any complaints, it would be for Frank, who is running very quickly out of yellow access, although he is making room for it. But the horizontals are only going to get him so far.
Yeah, both players had a lot of flexibility with their boards here. Frank was looking like he was advancing his board with a possibility with a uh, yellow sweet tea early on, but then opted to go with a horizontal play. And I think that was smart, considering that yellow was there was few yellow pill placements for him. Meanwhile, it looks like Floyd's just tearing
Ooh.
into this level here with a lot of his blue sequencing that he's been getting here.
Yeah, Frank getting a double yellow there that he was trying to put in between those two on the right. You can still see that double yellow pill
Oh,
down
right. I
there
see
at the
it.
bottom. You just hate to see it. Uh, you hate to do it, but it's painful. It's that little bit of mental damage that you get, from making a slight mistake.
Yeah, as you mentioned that there, but both these players are going to are going to be able to recover quite quickly. I mean, that's why they're here. That's why they're the best of the best, and into the semifinal here. So, meanwhile, it looks like Floyd is taken down and just tearing through the remaining part of his level here, and he's going to be down to his final 5 viruses here. Ook.
Yeah, Frank is on an oops all reds, and that the doctor is slowly giving them to him, but Floyd's going to be out at a 145 quickly enough to get a sip. As Frank is just he needs one, two. Well, now he needs three more reds to get out. But the doctor has so far been cheering for Ukraine and not for Frank.
The doctor's definitely putting Frank's test to the metal here as he is just getting out at around a 206 there, but nothing that's going to be too detrimental to the rest of his run over here. Meanwhile, Floyd putting on this great exhibit where he's just knocking down the blues, knocking down the yellows, and he is making quick work at this level 11.
Yeah, he's a little short on blue access at the moment. He's about to get a whole bunch of it though, as he gets this. Oh wow, a quad out at the bottom. I was gonna say as he gets these four yellows out of the way, but
Frank with the massive drop combo with the T. He
there
had
it
a blue
goes.
setup, and it was amazing. And another drop combo to even things up. He's not that far behind from Floyd over here. Only an 8 virus game.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome there. Floyd had the option for a horizontal. It would have created quite a bit of garbage. I don't blame him for not taking it, but he is going to have to deal with that little bit of. Well, never mind. He's taking care of that garbage. This is how fast these players are.
And Floyd with a clean board here. We know that Floyd plays very cleanly, and this is just a testament of his game style. And this board was actually very conducive to his style of play here. So it's really great to see him just absolutely making a tear through this level 11 here. Down to his final virus, and Floyd out first at a 328.
The doctor did not give him the negative RNG that he gave Frank at the end of that last level when Floyd got down to just reds. But as we watch with Frank getting some really good setups, figuring out his horizontals, making a quick decision on this one, I think, okay, that double is going to prevent him from having to do the horizontal. He is going to get out at a 355. Was looking to take care of those blues and get the horizontal, but the Bills decided otherwise for him.
He did very well at that. He had a couple of different options, and definitely the double yellow was a great, the best case scenario for him. But he had a lot of outs from that level here. Floyd looking like he's just absolutely destroying this level 12 here. Again, everything just coming the way he is, just making quick work, short adjustments here, taking the horizontal down to open the board up even more and get that color diversity. It's looking great for him.
Yeah, he had a misdrop earlier with a double blue, but it was a double blue, and he put it somewhere where he managed to just knock it out pretty quickly. But like you said earlier, that being able to figure out the minor things is what makes these players so good at what they do.
And this is looking good for him. I mean, Floyd's got a couple of different options. This needs a lot of yellows to get the remaining portion of it there, but he's going to make quick, short work of it. And it looks to me like afterwards, he's going to get out relatively soon after he gets a couple things and everything's nice and exposed to him. So it's still looking good. Great for him.
Yeah, decides not to use that red yellow, but did manage to get what he needed out at a 514. So
Into the
we're into the last level. Yeah, both reminding ourselves. I see.
I will be honest. I totally forgot that level 13 was the final bit of it, and so I'm gonna definitely do better to make sure that we're going to be like, hey, they're finished. But as we're saying that, Floyd getting the necessary pieces here was presented with a early opportunity for a horizontal. I believe he did take that, but now looking to open up his board some blues and reds, and Frank looking to need some reds to get out of this, and he'll be joining Floyd at a 550, 551.
So we're looking at about 16, 17 viruses difference at the start of the level. As seasoned players will certainly know, the beginning of the level is the fastest part of it as far as your virus count. But 17 is a good solid number. And the question is going to be, will Floyd hold on to this lead, or will Frank find a way to come back? Nothing. We've seen much bigger deficits be taken down in a level that's even shorter than this one. So it's going to be down to the wire for these two.
Definitely, definitely. But Floyd making short work of it. Everything's just coming down to where he would like. He's making his quick vertical plays, keeping it as fundamental as he can, and that's really proving to be a great strategy for this level 13 here. He's down to his final 15, and just everything's just so clean, so exposed on Floyd's side. This is quite an amazing game from him.
Yeah, he's managed to keep the left and right hand sides relatively empty. Part of that is just how the board was set up to begin with, but overall it's just a nice clean board. And Frank doing a very good job on his own side, but again that deficit was pretty high, and it does look like Floyd with this last double yellow is going to be out at a 716. So GG's, that's a really really good time.
Fantastic time from Floyd. He's definitely here to play, and he's saying, "Hey, just one match, sure, I'll take it, but you know what? I'm going to bring my best towards you." So, Frank, bring it on.
That was the number 3 on our hot times.
Really, that is fantastic. Well, congrats to Floyd for getting the third best, hottest time that we have in our monthly tournaments. There, that's fantastic, amazing.
Yes, indeed. And this has been, you know, if you can call it struggling, compared to some of the other hot times, Frank this has not been his level block. He only has the fourth best time as opposed to some of the others where it's just, all Frank all the time. I believe, didn't he set yeah, he set the best 8 through 11 yesterday. He's got some of the best 6 through, the two best 6 through 9, but 10 through 13, not his strongest, which I guess all you can say, that's all you can say for somebody who's got the fourth and the ninth best times in history for it.
And Frank getting on 813, which is a very respectable time, just the set of RNG that was delivered to him, considering the fact that he got an 813 with that RNG was just it's still a wild time and a great spectacle to witness on this Sunday match here. But it looks like Floyd and Frank both have readies, and we'll be getting on to match number 3 between these two Titans.
All right. So GG's on that last one. Got 3-2-1 pills. Good luck on this one. Again, this is a best of 5, so neither player is in elimination mode just yet. But that will be coming after this one for one of our two players, as Floyd gets a really nice horizontal to start off this board.
Yeah, Frank had a little bit of a mini chasm situation in both the 8th column and the 6th column there, and would add a little bit of drop time, but nothing too serious with that. But he managed to strategically place things to both minimize the garbage and minimize the fall, and he was able to make quick work given that it was not a relatively flat level for him to start this level 10 here. But he's making the best of it and is maneuvering and faltering his pills around to really just crush into this level here.
Yeah, red access has been a real problem for both of these players mid-level. The doctor, Frank is he's just now gotten his first reds exposed in quite some time. There's plenty of it at the bottom of the board, so we can expect an oops all reds situation for him, unless the doctor just decides, oh, hey, I'm going to give you a ton of red. Meanwhile, on Floyd's side, it's He's almost out of red completely. There just wasn't that much on this board to begin with. But what he does have is kind of a sticking point. He's going to need some yellow to really make things start popping for him.
It looked like Floyd had a really accelerated pace going into it, but the last few viruses have proved to be a little bit difficult for Floyd's side of the board. Just no access to lots of colors here, and things are kind of clumped in an odd situation where the spacing wasn't quite conducive to his play style. But he is down to his final 5 viruses, and he's going to be getting out of here. A great setup with the blues, dropping it all down, and just needs a couple yellows to be out of here.
Yeah, he would have liked, I'm sure, to have gotten the yellow to put on top of that one on column 1 before the blues dropped, because now he is forced to grab another as Frank out at a 202. Floyd going to put everything on top, going to be out at a 207. Just the pills weren't falling for him at the end there.
I agree with Floyd placing his pills on top over the bottom. I don't think it would have mattered too much if he stacked underneath, and it would have been a lot of maneuverability to risk in order for him to advance the board here. So I think it was smart in his behalf to stack it on top to have a little bit less of a thought process and stress involved into the end game there. Floyd's the nice lightning bolt, and he is shortening the gap between these two.
Absolutely. Floyd is playing on medium, so it does give him the maneuverability, but I agree that, on a stage like this, when I don't know if his nerves bother him the way they do some of our other players, yours truly kind of mostly, but that's, it makes it a lot easier to mess up especially when you're talking about tucks. So, I think you're right. That's the safer call. Maybe if you're right at the very end of a level that you're going to have to zip through, maybe you don't. But in this situation, I think you're absolutely right.
I think Floyd's doing a really great job at tackling this level here. And look how compact his bottom of his board is there, Ook. I mean, everything's just chock full of doubles and triples and possible quads down over there if he gets the right sequencing. Making short work of it to put a dent into the bottom layer of his board. He's going to, and I think a little bit of a misdrop on that column 3 there.
Looks like it. Frank has managed to get out at a 334, and that is really going to put the onus on Floyd to get out of this level and really start putting the pedal to the metal at as they get ready to start level 12, because Frank is giving himself quite the advantage leading into that one. Although the doctor has said, "Yeah, I know you don't need any yellow. That's what I'm going to give you. Plenty of yellow."
And yeah, Frank is setting up a bunch of stuff with the non-helpful yellows here. He just needs one red to really make that combo fire off and fly. And he's going to be able to take those yellows that was given earlier, dropping it down to make into a very useful drop combo there.
Yeah, but Floyd being out, and it's
wow.
We're talking about. Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't even know what that combo was that Frank set, but it was like a T into a double vertical it just blew my mind. I think I'm absolutely speechless. It was amazing.
I think what it's called is trying to maintain a 30 virus lead, which is about what he's managed to do. He hasn't maintained it just because it's end game. That's where it's going to happen. But this is Frank has really made this level 12. He's really taking it to task for existing.
Yeah, this is a troublesome board for Floyd. He has a lot of red stacked vertically, and he's got spires upon spires, which is definitely not something that you want to see to make this a run of your own here. A little bit of a challenge, but Frank out at a 529 into the final level here, and Floyd now getting the reds to open the board back up.
I just can't word for what Frank just did at the end of that. It took the extra setup. He was swagging just a little bit, but it worked. It 100% worked. It was a vertical into a horizontal, into another vertical, into another horizontal. I mean, it was insane. The man is a machine. There's just no getting around it.
And as you mentioned that, Frank putting together yet another big brain combo over there. I thought he misflipped the red and yellow in column 3, and I was a little concerned as to what his end game was with that. But he ended up turning it into an eventual horizontal into a drop, and I think that
That's a
was a
misflip, though.
misdrop.
Yep.
As we were saying that, I apologize, Frank. I cursed you.
It wasn't a major one, but it did definitely have an effect. As we see Floyd really hoping for a long horizontal here. He's gonna get one more red, and that would have been a
Commentator's
full on.
blessing. Thank you, Ook, for that. That was exactly what he needed there. But he's gonna be out of 648. He's a little miffed on at level 12, but he's going to absolutely turn on the jets to really make this a competitive match here, for sure.
Definitely. I think he was hoping to turn that into a T as well, and it just didn't happen. And I'd have been frustrated too, just for that.
It was looking like it. He was definitely planning for it. I think given the fact that he got that at that exact time, I think that was a good way for him to get that over there.
The pills giveth, the pills taketh away. But he was hoping. He was really hoping for it.
Most certainly here. Meanwhile, it looks like Frank is setting up the rest of his combos here, possibly looking for a red combo to boot. Don't know if he's going to take that red horizontally and turn it into a sweet tea. I would probably guess a sweet tea just to make it a little bit more efficient. He does that.
There he goes.
And he's only down to his final 2 viruses to end this level.
I'm pretty sure.
Out of 745.
745. So that will be number 12 on our Hot Times board. So GG's to Frank taking game number 3 and sending us into game 4 in style.
Much like what we'd expected here. This is what the fans are hoping for, and Floyd realizing now that it's over, he's going to be topping out, shaking it off, and getting ready for his 4th game.
Absolutely. This is where the mental fortitude takes supreme precedence. You had a bad run, you had some really bad pills, you had a couple of misdrops. You go, okay, that was the last game. Now it's this one.
Influx asking if Floyd nearly took Frank out earlier this year. And yeah, that's correct. I believe it was in the finals match of June this year. It went the full distance between these 2 players. So to answer your question, Influx, it absolutely did go to a full 5-game series with this. And we're expecting to do the same thing for this time around.
Wouldn't be surprised at all. All right, the pills are flowing. The doctor's going. These players are ready to make some absolute magic for us. All right, so Frank making some interesting setups here. He would have loved for a red-blue or a red-yellow instead of the blue-yellow that he got. I don't know. It was a pill. He didn't get the one he wanted. But is managing a really nice horizontal setup here and making some interesting choices. I can't wait to see how I'm going to be shocked by what he just did.
He had earlier, I wasn't able to see as deep as Frank did in the level here. He had some blue garbage that's kind of cascaded down. It eventually could have been used to drop some stuff down when he did that red horizontal right there, but he elected not to do that. I think that was a smarter play just because it would have cut off some other options with the blues that was presented to him. But he's taking a slight lead over Floyd, 17-23 right now in Frank's favor.
Yeah, Floyd's board is really stuck on yellow. And the doc is just, well, he's doing what he does whenever you need one particular color. Thankfully, he is about to give it. Unfortunately, he gave it right after Floyd really could have used, he could have made himself a triple. And it's frustrating, but he's getting a few double yellows here. It's not the double yellow run we would have looked for, but he is absolutely making the best out of a rather rotten level. He's going to be out pretty soon, but Frank out at a 148 with that beautiful horizontal.
Frank's end game was absolutely amazing. He had it where he needed just reds and yellows, and he had the triple red to go as the last bit of it here. A very smart and efficient way. If in the event that he didn't have the three reds that came up there. Meanwhile, Floyd's looking like just yellows all day to get out of this level here, and oof, this RNG is just not providing to him.
It's not. I want to say a big welcome to all the Raiders from the Classic Tetris League. This is the Dr. Mario Championship monthly tournament. We've got Floyd versus Frank in a best of 5 levels, 10 through 13. And look at that start of this level from Floyd, who managed to squeeze that horizontal in and make some magic out of it. So hope you folks will stick around and enjoy. This is our semifinals for the month. We will have one more semifinal and then our finals all coming up before we end the stream today.
Welcome, friends. As we're seeing this match here, the score is 25-38 in favor of Frank. We're looking at a blue slope on Floyd's side, just trying to get everything all chiseled down there. He is making the best work of it, just dropping everything down smartly and making it where a nice horizontal from Floyd to open the board up even more.
Yeah, hoping to see him knock that big spire he's got up over on that right hand side before he gets too much more going on over there, because that will good. He gets the right pill to start that. That can be a real sticking point in his end game if he's not careful. But it's Floyd. He is careful. That's what he does. So still though, Frank holding on to this 9-virus lead, and it looks like he will be out fairly shortly. I wonder just how long of a horizontal he's going to make. He wants it, and I'm not sure if he is going to get it. There he goes.
Wow, and it was a fat log at that. That was just awesome to see there. But
Nearly the full line clean.
It's worth noting that Floyd has actually closed the gap here. At one point, I want to say he was down by about 20 viruses, but it's literally a 5-virus game at this point.
Very nice. And a blue yellow. Oh, this blue yellow is going to be perfect to finish his game out.
Absolutely perfect there.
Just
Joining Frank at 415. That's great. Yeah, his level 10 was not so great, but his level 12 is absolutely smoking hot. So it's still neck and neck here. This is really exciting to see.
Watch his combo from Frank. That was beautiful.
Whew, man, dropping everything down. You love to see it. You love to see it.
One little bit of garbage, but he'll be managing that very shortly. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not garbage, because look at what he's about to do next.
I see.
The yellow blue, there it is, and the combo, and just the drop.
Wonderful vision. He's turning everything that's might not seem ideal at first, but turning it into absolute gold here, and that is Frank. But still making very, very good, very short work, very short order of this level here. He is just needing a lot of looks like blues and reds to continue to advance his board, and he is doing such.
Floyd, though, just like in his level 10, I believe it was, it's all yellow. And he is very dependent on yellow right now, and that is going to be a problem for him if the doctor does not start providing. He's going to get a lightning rod there. That's going to be really nice. And the doubles are starting to show up. Maybe we can will a double yellow blitz for him to kind of keep this game competitive. Otherwise, the doctor is just going to be deciding who wins, and we don't want that. The doctor's a jerk.
Chat can go ahead and send those double yellow vibes over to Floyd right now if they can. I think that might help him in his case here. But other than that, he isn't really in need too much of the double yellows. He's brought the health of the board back just a little bit better in favor of this end game here. But just needing a lot of, well, I guess still yellows, but not as dependent as it was earlier in the run.
So Frank is out at a 6 minutes flat, and he is starting to zip in on this final level of the block, up 2 games to 1. So Floyd is going to need to get out of this one with a win if he wants to continue in the tournament. Otherwise, it will be Frank taking on whoever the winner of our next match between John Dat Flindo and Adelito turns out to be.
And Frank playing very dangerously high there. Luckily, he's playing on that medium speed where it's not going to spell disaster. But Frank's been holding off in his drop combo, been patiently waiting to get that drop cross into a drop, couple of verticals over there, and he just now fires that off and is still holding on to a 12-virus lead.
Yes. However, Floyd is into this final level, and it's going to be another sprint for these two. Very curious to see just exactly what's going to happen. Frank got himself a little bit of a spire over there in column 6. He decides to go ahead and take care of it. But you know, that sort of thing, you never know if it's a bit of a mistake or just a huge galaxy brain play.
It looked like, and a nice sideways little fat log lightning bolt on Frank's side of the board there. As you were saying that, it looked like Frank's one of those players that tends to hold on to his garbage as long as he has, if he does that, or decides to use it for later clears here. And I think he was trying to hold off on that to advance his board eventually, but he ends up firing it off to just eliminate all the viruses to not really worry about it. But now it's presented the problem of just mostly yellows and blues to chip away at the rest of his board here.
And Floyd is, you can see the look on his face. He's in trouble here. It's a very blue dependent board, and the doctor has not been providing. It's finally the dam has broken. For the Tetris players, it's like he's just completely had a drought of long bars, and it's just not coming down for him. And the mental damage is starting to hit. He's had some opportunities to take care of some blues over on that left-hand side with the doubles, has opted not to do it. He's seeing that side of the board now, but it's going to be close.
It's down to the wire here, but it looks like Frank barely squeezes a victory in an 832 there. It was just literally down to the last few reds and blues here. And Floyd's going to be getting that over here and finishing out in 844. So really close fourth game there between these two players. And it was absolutely, I was at the edge of my seat there just seeing what was going to happen.
Absolutely. GG's to both of these players.